welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
And I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again. We're starting off the show with big news are coming for the development of sports in the country. That's because it's now being passed that 80 billion naira will be injected into sports development over the next 4 years.
Great news. We just can't wait for this to happen. Sport is now a business because sport has been included into the National Development Plan, which will be about 140 billion in total that will be injected into that National Development Plan. Also on the program, Andy Murray is sending a warning signal that yes, he is back at his best because he was able to claim his second top 10 win of the year, upstaging top seed Yannick Sinner 7-6, 6-3 in Stockholm.
Yes, I told you about that matchup yesterday, Cecilia. You can never count out the three-time major winner. Andy Murray knocking out the top seed Yannick Sinner from the Stockholm Open. Also on sport this morning in the NBA this time around, where the Celtics avenged their first loss of the season at home against the Toronto Raptors with a very comprehensive victory this time around. Game played early this morning, ended 104-108 in favor of the Boston Celtics. Cecilia, remember the last time these two sides met? The Celtics were booed off the court by their fans
because of their performance.
They lost by 34 points thereabouts. This time around, they've managed to avenge that loss and serve the dish when it's very cold. That's how they say
really cold. Yeah. Jason Tatum, of course, was the one who led with 22 points. And that's what we're starting off the show with the NBA. But first, we just take a look at the results from last night, with Warriors not knowing how to lose. And also Washington Wizards, another team that is also on a winning run.
Indeed.
Okay, Tayo, just all the games from last night.
Yes, the Wizards were in action against the Cavs. Ended 177-94 in favor of the Washington Wizards. We also saw the Brooklyn Nets defeating Orlando Magic 123-90. Raptors lost against the Celtics. As our feature game, we'll come back to it shortly. Elsewhere, the Bucks back-to-back wins for them. This time around, they defeated the New York Knicks 112-100. The Pistons defeated the Rockets. Rockets are having another rocky season. They lost 112-104 against Detroit. The Dallas Mavericks were defeated by the Chicago Bulls, one of the surprise teams of the season. The Bulls winning 117-107. Lonzo Ball with a very good outing in that game. The Charlotte Hornets defeated the Memphis Grizzlies 118-108. OKC Thunder also prevailed 108-100 over the New Orleans Pelicans. The Kings were toppled by the San Antonio Spurs 136-117. What a result for San Antonio in that one. The Pacers lost against the Denver Nuggets 98-101, while the Blazers, Cecilia, still can't win on the road. They lost against the Phoenix Suns 109-119. And the Golden State Warriors, Cecilia,
talk about the team. 10-1.
Ridiculous. 123-110 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And last but not the least, the Lakers prevailing over the Miami Heat in overtime 120-117. Malik Monk scoring 5 of the season-high 27 points in overtime. Malik Monk, of course, is stepping in for LeBron James and seems to be doing okay.
Apparently, and of course, kudos to
Russell
Westbrook posting a triple-double, 25, 12, and 14. And of course, less turnovers.
Anthony Davis as well, 24 points and 13 rebounds in that very crucial victory, big-time victory over the Miami Heat. All right, let's focus on the Raptors and the Celtics and talk about how the Celtics avenged that loss against the Toronto Raptors earlier in the season. Jason Tatum led the way with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Celtics prevailed 104-88 over the Raptors early this morning. Robert Williams III added 16 points and 13 rebounds with a career-best 8 coming on the offensive glass. Dennis Schroeder, remarkable indeed. Cecilia, Dennis Schroeder, 20 points, Josh Richardson, 15 points, and Marcus Smart, 13 points.
Great performance coming from the Boston Celtics. They led by 60 points at halftime and 12 after 3 quarters. So they needed to win this one, needed to tell everyone and send a message like, okay, that loss that they were booed off the court was actually
just a blip. Yeah, just a blip. It's good to see the Celtics have learned the lessons from that particular defeat. It wasn't good at all. Being booed by your own fans, never a good thing. At the TD Garden, very passionate set of fans. So it was good to see them rebound nicely to get this victory. And the coach, Ime Udoka, said at the time when they lost by 32 points to the Raptors that they were punked out there. This time around, I think the punking is the other way around. Oh, anyways, that's okay. Listen, I'll get the post-game thoughts now of Ime Udoka, who was obviously delighted with that victory over the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, they were playing smaller than they had been in the past with Siakam coming back. We returned the favor somewhat to what they did to us in the first game. They're switching everything, so it causes some cross matches there. And when we had isolations or penetration of the basket, we really told our bigs to attack the glass, make them pay. And that's the first part of keeping them out in transition, make them focus on boxing us out on the defensive glass, and it could slow down in transition as well. That they focused on the details that we hammered them with pretty much all shoot around the last few days. The areas they really hurt us with, I talked about offensive rebounds, 21 for 23 second chance points last time, and they only had 6 tonight, including 2 in the second half. So we showed the clips at halftime of the areas they hurt us on the glass, and we did a better job there. Transition-wise, 18 is still a high number, but other than the 11 points in the third quarter, we really did a good job making them score in the half court. So they're the #1 transition team, #1 offensive rebound team, but 25th in half court. So we wanted to make them, beat us in the half court in isolations, and 30th in assists. So we focused on those areas and took care of them tonight.
It's Celtics taking care of business tonight, early this morning against the Toronto Raptors. Cecilia, it's still early doors, but I can already tell that the season is going to be a very competitive one in the East and in the West. The Celtics right now not even in playoff or playing contention.
That's all.
It's ridiculous.
I'm talking about Boston Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics. Yeah, they're not in playing or playoffs contention.
Yeah,
that's why I said
because of the way they started.
Wasn't a great start for them at all, and we'll see. There's still a lot of games to be played, and they still have a chance to get into the top 10 in the Eastern Conference. Right now, they're number 11. 11,
which is not good. Okay. Especially when you're having those top teams like Milwaukee Bucks, teams like 76ers, don't have the full complement of their players. So this is actually the time for the Celtics to wrap up how many games they can and just get some win and move up top. Because when those players that are not playing return to their various teams, the 76ers and, of course, the Bucks will keep flying. The Bucks, of course, anyway, had a win over the night. Back to win anyways, back-to-back. Okay, it's a good one for them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave basketball and quickly talk tennis.
Basketball, let's talk about top performance.
Yes. What am I jumping to? Because Andy Murray got another top 10 win.
Anthony Davis.
Yes,
what a player.
It was actually sports anyway.
48 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Timberwolves. Let's move on to the next guy quickly. Let's not waste too much time right now in terms of our top performers. Kevin Durant, 30.5 rebounds and 2 assists for the
back from that loss
in their victory as well too. Next up is Nickel Alexander-Walker, 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists for the young man right there from New Orleans. Will Barton, 36 and 3.
The Nuggets.
Yep.
And De'Aaron Fox
for the Kings, 37, 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Ja Morant, unfortunately, they lost that game, but he posted 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. And last but not the least is Jeremy Grant of the Detroit Pistons, 35, 5 and 3. That's it for basketball for now. You can always join us tomorrow for all of the other updates concerning the National Basketball Association. Let's go over to tennis now, Stockholm to be precise, Cecilia, where Andy Murray rolled back. Turn back the clock, roll back the years, however you want to put it, against Yannick Sinner. Cecilia, you thought...
I thought it was going to be a difficult game, and I was thinking that Yannick Sinner would get the better of Andy Murray. And you reminded me that, look, already this year, he's beating the top 10. I'm like, because of the form Yannick Sinner is, and he's played more games this season than Andy Murray, so I just expected him to at least give this a fight or even topple Andy Murray. But then the reverse was the case because Andy Murray toppled him in 2 straight sets, 7-6 and 6-3. And of course, Andy Murray right now is sending a warning signal to everyone that maybe he's really fully back and ready to compete.
I mean, it's a gradual process. It's a gradual process. Andy Murray pretty much still on the comeback trail.
Yeah.
Defeating Yannick Sinner is no mean feat at all at this stage of their careers. It's well documented, all of Murray's injury issues. Taking on a player who's approaching his prime was always going to be difficult, but Murray showed a lot of character, especially in the first set, where he went into a tie break, 74 minutes. That's how it lasted. At the end of it was Murray that was able to fend off the only break points that he faced in 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I remember Andy Murray is now ranked 143 in the world, and this year he has won 15 games and he has lost.
He's coming back. He's coming back. I mean, look at that. He's really pumped. So you can see Murray's like, I just beat another top 10 player just for the second time this season. I mean, the season is almost done, pretty much. So it's quite remarkable.
Let me use his words. It's coming. It's coming. He hasn't won a title since 2019, right?
Yeah.
So
if he keeps playing this way and there are no injuries, setbacks again, it's only a matter of time before Murray gets to win.
Coming.
Yeah. I'm not saying win a Grand Slam. Don't get me
title.
wrong.
I'm talking about title. I didn't mention any title at all. That's why he said it's coming. Any title simply means something is coming. You know, we need to take a time out with a short tennis break. And after that, our guest will be joining us this morning. Of course, we'll be talking Nigerian-American football. You understand what that means when he joins us. All right, welcome back. Yes, we have our guest in the studio, Solomon. Oludaisi, yes, that's it.
Oludaisi, Solomon.
Yeah, Solomon.
Good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning. It's nice coming here. It's nice being here.
Okay. And you happen to be an assistant coach with the Nigerian-American Football Association, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. I know you guys are having a program coming up next week, which is exhibition games.
Yes, exhibition games.
So tell us more about that and what we should expect and why you're having that exhibition game.
Nigeria-American Football Association has been around for a very long time. And we are trying to move a step further with everything we've been doing there because we've been seeing different talents from different schools and different ages, very young players, tall, fast. So we decided to come up with an exhibition game in Lagos State with about 42 teams, both male and female, 21 each, to bring out the best talent of them and start a league next year by February. The exhibition game is coming up next week, starting from for 10 days. That is November 9th, 17 to 27. And it's going to be fun. From there, we'll have to look for better players, good players, guys that are very talented when it comes to the game and so on and so forth. So that is just all for now.
Okay. Interesting. You said 42 teams.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah, where are you getting all of these players from?
All in Lagos State.
This is American football, not football, not soccer, right? So obviously, when Nigerians play American football that much?
Yeah, Nigeria play American football that much, but no, it's not really popular. That's why the Nigeria Basketball Federation is there to make sure it comes out that elaborate. Because by next year we're starting the league, which is going to be a very big league, secondary school league, where all these kids have the whole opportunity and that platform to showcase all their talents one after the other. The one that is fast, the one that is strong, the one that. Then that way, scouts from all over the country can actually come in, watch them live and see, okay, this guy is good, this girl is good. Because it's both male and female. From there, they can actually get scholarships to different schools abroad, US, Canada, and other countries as well.
So that's very interesting. So what is the response? What has it been like from, I mean, we're seeing pictures coming from, are these secondary school students?
This is Lagos Marine. That's Lagos Marine, the only American football team in Lagos right now.
Lagos?
Yeah.
Or in Nigeria?
Lagos.
In Lagos. Interesting. Well, we're seeing kids now as well, too, now.
These are Baptist boys and girls where we had an exhibition game 2 months ago. And they all showed out, they turned out good, and everybody played nice and well.
But from what you've seen from, just watching these kids play, how you think they are actually, there are a lot of talent out there in terms of Nigerian-American football? Yeah,
the truth is even in the NFL right now. It's only Nigeria that are actually dominating the NFL right now.
Yeah, okay.
Nigerians are really dominating the NFL all over the country, all over the US right now.
Yeah, well, those are Nigerian Americans.
Yeah,
talking of the
ones that are even in Nigeria right now. These kids are, at least we have about 6'5", 6'7" kids. And I remember we had a Zoom meeting where with a school in US, and they were like, what are these kids still doing right here in Nigeria? They can start coming to the US immediately, like, these kids are very talented. They are fast, they are strong, they are very tall.
Okay, now let me ask this question. How did you build the interest? Because we know that when it comes to American football, it's a bit harder than soccer and even other sports like cricket and all. So it's not really a soft sport, so to speak. It's a very difficult sport. It's hard to play, and you need enough energy and techniques to be able to play it. How were you guys able to harness players to take part in this? Because you said it includes women, and how the parents' reaction and also the schools you guys had to go to.
Yeah, American football, due to what you just said, it's not that easy. It has more of contact. But this is what we do most times. We start with flag football for them, where we just, there's a flag we use, there are 3 flags, and when you, instead of tackling the person, you get a flag off. It's called flag football. So that way, when they are used to flag football, it's just about the speed and catch the ball and maneuver your waist, the skills, no tackle, nothing. No so when they are actually used to that, willingly they will like, there's nothing in tackling. When you are on pads and helmets, tackling is very even easier. Because when anybody tackles you, there are protections to be there. So when you're used to flag football, like the female team start with flag football, and gradually they train with the male team, female versus male. From there, they are used to light hits, light contact. Willingly themselves, they're like, let's play American football. I don't want to play flag anymore. Let me play American football.
That makes sense. I mean, starting, you're not just throwing them into the deep end straight away.
It takes a very long time, very long process. You just have to trust the process, step by step, to make sure they don't lose the interest in the game.
And so far, so good.
It was turning out very well, because right now, even they have been calling, I want to join the team. Friends are bringing friends.
Wow.
Most female players want to play American football, and most athletics players right now, athletes that are doing athletics, running, sprinting, they want to play American football. Because they believe when they run, all they need to just beat you and catch the ball. So they're actually doing that because my team right now, we have a team in Ogun State, and we are the royalty flag football team. We have 70% of the team players are athletics players. And they are very fast, track and field. And they are just 100-meter athletes. They are very, very fast. When they beat you, you can't even catch them anymore. Even a female player can beat a male player without stress.
Wow. That's interesting, Cecilia.
Okay, I think we have to keep it. Let's quickly go on a short break, and we'll come back. We'll just ask the final question before we let Solomon Oludase leave the studio. All right, we still have Solomon Oludase in the studio. He's an assistant coach with the Nigerian American Football Association. And of course, he mentioned that they will be starting the semi-league in February. Now, the question I'm going to ask, you're going to be having 30 teams for the league. How many men's team and how many women's team?
We're having, for the exhibition game, we're having 42 teams.
42 in all, but for the league?
For the league, it's going to be 30 teams. That's 15-15. So they will have a very long time to play. Everybody's going to have the time to showcase what they have. It's going to be very, very strict and very, very fun. So it's going to be 15 female, 15 male, different schools, different locations, different stadiums, all over the state.
All over Nigeria?
All over
Lagos. It's basically just Lagos for now. So the league is for Lagos now. Then do you intend to?
Yeah, we are trying to expand to different states. We are already working on Ogun State. We are working on Kwara State. Then as time goes on, it's going to be different states. Then final 4 from different states comes to Lagos or probably Abuja to play the national finals. Then from there's going to be a very big one.
So for now, the focus is just in Lagos. So all the secondary school teams play together. Then at the end of the league, you're going to have a trophy or something.
There will be medals. There will be trophy. But all coaches and referees did a course in an international course lately, and they will also be having trophies and medals and participation certification forms for everybody.
All right, Solomon, thank you so much for coming to the program. So all the best as the exhibition games start November 17th. That's next week. All right, we'll be talking about the Super Eagles after he leaves the studio. And of course, Ighalo is yet to be in camp. But then we have some players already in camp, and they've been talking tough ahead of the game against Liberia. Wilfred Ndidi is one of those players. And after that, Badakintunde Johnson will be joining us to talk more about the Super Eagles preparations for the game against Liberia this Saturday.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been amazing, seeing the players putting the work. We're just trying to prepare for the game. Getting all the tactics done and learning from mistakes and taking into the game. We know what we want. We as players, we know what we want. They should just keep supporting us. We hope for the best because we've been working very hard. So hopefully we come out victorious. It is amazing because seeing the players and getting that feeling back is really, really amazing. And I'm very happy to be back with the team. And we look forward to what we want to achieve in the future.
He's really happy to be back with the team. He was in the last game where lost one in Lagos and won another one away from home. Today Johnson is joining us right now to talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the preparations, the players that are being invited. I think we haven't really talked about that, especially the coming back of Ighalo, who retired in 2019, but right now is back in the squad. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Morning, Cecilia. Morning, everyone. Morning, Kyle. Good to be here.
It's great to have you. So quickly, Super Eagles are preparing for the game against Liberia. And of course, when we spoke with the media officer yesterday morning, he talked about the fact that the players are fired up and they know what's at stake. They just want to get all the 9 points. Against Liberia, win that. Against Cape Verde in Lagos, win that. Of course, they will be going into the knockout stage for the World Cup qualifiers.
Absolutely. And it was another great performance after the disappointment of losing at home to Central African Republic. They went away to Yaoundé to sort of repair the damage a little bit, but Nigerian fans are still sort of hurt. And nothing short of an excellent, all-round, excellent performance on that pitch in Morocco is going to be good enough. To be honest, I see this first phase of qualification as a dress rehearsal for the main thing, to be honest. We've been pitted against teams that we should be beating with our eyes closed. Yes, football is evolving, teams are getting stronger, but there's still no excuse for losing at home to Central African Republic or laboring to an away win over Cape Verde. So the game against Liberia, away from the pressure of playing in front of Lagos fans, on a pitch I expect to be in excellent playing condition that allows for smooth football. These guys should enjoy themselves. Look at what the training pitch alone looks like. It tells you that it's closer to the facilities they're used to in Europe. So it's not an artificial pitch. It's green grass, natural. The football should roll quite nicely on it. They should be able to express themselves. And for me, having Ndidi and Alex Iwobi back is priceless. We couldn't get going in the games that they didn't play in the middle of the park. That area continues to be a major area of concern because the creativity is just lacking. We've got a preponderance of options in attack. Seaman, Ighalo now, wide areas, Ejuke, you have Moses Simon, you have Chukwueze, some of the best wide men in world football, but they need service. They do need service from the middle of the park. So having Alex Iwobi back is key. He's going to drive with the ball. He can play passes through. He can thread the eye of a needle. He can play balls over the top. He's intelligent. He's done it over the years from the youth levels in Arsenal to the main team and now to Everton, and he's played international games for Nigeria in different competitions. So he brings that those bags of experience into the middle of the park and can improve us. I look at the squad. There's not a lot I can fault except for the left side of defense, where I thought that Sanusi Zaidu, and I think that's his name, the Porto guy, should have been invited. I think he should have been invited.
He's on the team.
I must have missed his name, but I looked at a glance. Yeah, oh, fantastic. Then that makes a complete team because I looked through, and apart from the Ogenet Caro Etebo, who's injured, I can't think of any player aside Awuni, maybe, who I thought should have been given another chance to prove himself. At least the squad looks complete, solid, and they should be fine fettle. There are no injuries. There are no other concerns. There are no major suspensions. Maduka Okoye is back. He's just signed for Watford. He should be in great spirits. The team should do well, in my own opinion. My worry is occasionally when Liberia do ask questions, I hope that the kind of mix-up between Trustekong and Leon Balogun in the center of defense that led to that lone goal that defeated us at home doesn't happen. They're experienced. They played major championships for us. One plays for Rangers, the other plays for Watford in England, in Scotland, respectively. They should be communicating better. They should be showing better leadership. in defense and organizing themselves better. Who goes to deal with the ball? Who stays? Who pushes forward? Who stays? Those are, like, as we say in local parlance, 5 and 6. They've got to work together, communicating, coordinating, showing leadership. And once we do all of that, create chances, play well, score them, keep it tight at the back, it should be nothing short of not just a win, but a good win for the Super Eagles against Liberia.
Indeed, no excuses whatsoever. We've heard the coach, General, talk about the conditions in Tangier, the pitch, the weather. Everything is good, so no excuses for Nigeria. The players have said the same thing as well, too. As of the last count, it was 22 players in camp, still expecting Ighalo and John Noble to come back. But, of course, the story has been about Ighalo returning to the team after retiring a couple of years ago. And one of the players who's supposed to be affected, in quotes, by Ighalo's return, that's Victor Osimhen, has been talking about his comeback to the national team. Let's take a listen now to Victor Osimhen, pretty much welcoming the return of Ighalo to the Super Eagles squad.
And the federation know what's best for the team. So we welcome him with open hands, and we are looking forward to receiving him in the camp. And like I said before, he's like a big brother to me, and I really love him a lot, and I learned a lot from him. I admire him so much. So I think for me, it's one of the most important things to have him in the squad. And like I said before, we all have the common goal to qualify the nation for the World Cup and to do well in the AFCON. So whatsoever thing that is good for the team, I think the coach and the federation will bring it into play.
Victor Osimhen welcoming the return of Ighalo to the Super Eagles squad. But I'll come back to you straight away. Ighalo, obviously very experienced, knows where the back of the net is. But right now, that team, the 4th position belongs to Victor Osimhen. So how do you see this panning out, the return of Ighalo? Do you see a situation where Ighalo is going to have to bide his time on the bench, or perhaps the coach will be experimenting by playing 2 forwards?
First off, I don't understand it. I don't support it. Okay. I don't think that we need Ighalo back, especially if leaving out younger players, to accommodate him is the case. Why is Taiwo Awoniyi not back? He's played a couple of games. He deserves another chance. He's young. He's got a longer runway in front of him in the national team. If you are bringing Ighalo as incremental firepower with all the young guys present, yeah, that's okay. But if one young player is going to be missing out just to accommodate him, then that's not good. In terms of now that he's been invited, how does the manager fit him into the team? Of course, the mother of all atrocities will be for Ighalo to play ahead of Osimhen. It would be a travesty. So best case scenario for the manager and Ighalo would be to play the 2 of them up top. And he can do that because we're playing Liberia, we're playing Cape Verde, we're playing teams that we're expected to be on the front foot against. Ighalo can function in a front 2. Victor Osimhen can function in the front 2. They can link up together. Ighalo's got the experience, maybe not the pace anymore, but he knows how to, get into the right positions and he can finish. And Osimhen has got the pace. So he might want to play both of them together. But if you look at how the team is shaping up and how we're building into the future, there's very little value in my own opinion, that Ighalo brings. If it's goal scoring, we have younger players who can score the goals. They just need, because Ighalo himself needed time to bed into the national team. Yeah. I'm not sure that he hit the ground running in the first 5 games. That's not how he works for most people. So why give Awoniyi 2 games and then stop inviting him, or refuse to invite him for 2 games, 2 easy games on paper where he can actually get that opportunity to get his first goal, settle down, and build from there. So we've got to question the thinking of the manager in bringing back Ighalo. Yeah, if it's at the AFCON, you've got to have more places in the team. I think they're increasing the numbers of registered players to 20-something, 25 or something like that. If you're looking to sort of give one of those extra slots to Ighalo to come and provide leadership, to raise morale, to boost confidence, I can understand that. But in 2 easy qualifiers, in the build-up to the final phase of World Cup qualifying, you have to give Taiwo Awoniyi another chance. Not inviting him, for me, is just inexcusable. You can't justify it, especially when you are bringing back a player from Saudi Arabia, a league that, I mean, you can't even compare to the second or third grade competitions in Europe. So I don't understand it. I'll never understand it.
Don't you think maybe because we lost against CAR right here in Lagos, that's the reason? Because maybe if we had a leader in that team, maybe we would have suffered that loss, because that's why Ighalo is being brought in. And brought in early to blend with the team before the Nations Cup.
Cecilia, I'm sorry, I disagree, and I disagree very vehemently. The reason we lost to Central African Republic wasn't the lack of leadership. It was simply the fact that we did not create chances, and we did the few we created, we didn't score them. And that can happen on a bad day. We've seen Man City with the preponderance of talent and the number of chances they create per game. We've seen them lose to really poor teams sometimes because they don't take their chances. We've seen Barcelona. We've seen the best of teams in Europe. That happens once in a while. And I mean, you don't see Barcelona lose a game and then go and bring Carles Puyol out of retirement to come and play because of experience. It doesn't happen. So you've got to stick with the team and continue building. And again, going back to being someone who's retired can knock the confidence of the young guys because it can communicate that you don't trust them. So if tomorrow there's a problem in defense, do you go and bring or ask Yobo to kit up and play? You've got to trust the guys to do the business. So losing to Central African Republic can never be reason enough for bringing back Ighalo.
And besides, before they have been talking about this Ighalo's return for a while now, even before that game against Central African Republic, if you recall, that being, words coming out that Ighalo has been talked to come back to the national team. So I totally agree with you as well, too. Has nothing to do with the Central African Republic loss at all. Anyways, we'll come back to you now about that, but that's going to be after we listen to the captain of the team, Ahmed Musa, sounding very confident ahead of Saturday's game against the Lone Star.
As you can see, everyone is just happy and ready for the game. Everywhere we have 22 players tomorrow. We're expecting the goalkeeper and Ighalo, so we'll be a full team. So as you can see, we know the importance of the game. We just need to go for the 3 points because we don't have to lose. We know the importance. So inshallah, at the end of Saturday game, we're gonna be very happy. Yeah, I think the weather is very good. It's just like Europe. Most of us, I think, we love the weather. So I hope the weather is gonna give us what we want, inshallah.
Weather is great. The players are looking good, feeling good ahead of that game against
good
Liberia.
Pitch, good weather, everything is good, so no excuses, right?
I heard before coming into the studio, we might as well play the home game against Morocco.
In Morocco, right? Since it seems that playing at home, it's not good enough. Okay. I mean, before we wrap this up, finally, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Bada, let me quickly get your thoughts on how many goals should we be expecting? Because from what the players are saying, yes, they love the weather, they love the pitch, they love everything about Morocco, and they're eager to really play there. So there are no excuses coming in. And with the plethora of talents that we have, it simply means we can get up to 5 goals against Liberia in Morocco. Will that happen?
Let me burst your bubble very quickly. It's not going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because this Super Eagles team doesn't create enough solutions to deal with low blocks. So the team that we're going to play against is most likely going to set up in an ultra defensive way to nullify all of this attacking talent that we have. So when you have a team set up with a defensive block that is quite low, what are the options? It can't just be walking the ball wide and crossing balls into a congested penalty area, especially against teams that can deal with aerial balls. You're not going to get joy. And it is that lack of creative solutions down the middle that is the reason we will not score 4 goals, we will not score 5 goals. And in any case, against opposition like Liberia, Cape Verde, and Central African Republic, those are the kind of numbers we should be doing. But the reason we're not doing those numbers is because we're not creating enough solutions to find our way past teams that play with a low block. And one of the ways that teams like City, Barcelona, PSG deal with defensive teams or ultra-defensive teams is to try and get a goal early. When you get a goal early, that forces them to want to push up and chase an equalizer or muster a response. And then you can find spaces in behind, especially with the speed demons that you've got on the in the wide areas. So if we start slowly, like we did against Central African Republic, and we don't score early, the team is going to draw more strength, more encouragement, more confidence from holding you at bay for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. And they're going to get even more resolute in the way they are defending. And you are going to find less and less spaces in and around the penalty area. So score early and draw them out, or have the patience to walk the ball backwards and keep it. So you can lure the front layer of that defensive block to come outside, and then you can find spaces in behind. Right now, the Super Eagles don't even have the structure, or they are not displaying that understanding and intelligence on the pitch of play to understand what is needed or what is required at the right moment. And until that is fixed, I'm sorry, Cecilia, we will not score 3, 4, 5 goals in a football game.
Okay. All right, so we'll end it there. You actually bust the bubble so much that I'm speechless right now. So we'll leave the Super Eagles of Nigeria and quickly talk about sports development. We've been waiting for it, how sports can become a business in Nigeria. And the news coming from the sports ministry is the fact that Federal Executive Council have actually approved about 140 billion naira for the National Development Plan. And of course, sports has been included as a business in that particular plan, which we are really happy about because as a Tuesday when the sports minister was with the sports committee on sports, the Senate House Committee on Sports, I mean, when he defended the budget and everything, talked about the different things they intend to do. And now 80 billion is likely to be injected into sport for a period of 4 years. Yeah. So we're anticipating and looking forward to that. But what do you think about this new development?
So first off, I mean, at the risk of sounding negative, over 100 billion is not too much money for one person to speak in Nigeria. Ziani stole, I think, much more. So I'm not going to get excited that money has been approved, you know, because it can easily be mismanaged. What I'm excited about is the attempt, at least on paper, the attempt to privatize the sector and focus it more along the lines of a business versus, you know, youth development. And you've got to do both, to be honest. Okay. But until football becomes, or sport generally becomes a business that private individuals can invest in and get return on investment, it is not going anywhere, to be honest.
Okay, but let's quickly go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with this discussion. Yeah, we're still talking about the National Development Plan where 80 billion will be injected into sports. And Bada just said, look, that money is really not enough. But then the fact that, you know, there's actually a plan, the fact that it's been done is something. And for the youth development program, 60 billion. So that's why you have 140 billion.
Bada, understandably, very skeptical about all of this. But we're just going to have to cross our fingers and see how it pans out eventually. And but like you said, until sports becomes a business, proper business, this is just going to be like going around in circles. That's what you were talking about before we went on that break.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest sport, or the flagship sport in the country, is football. And Tayo, you and I are thoroughly embarrassed, disappointed by how football is just totally mismanaged in the country. You've got to have private individuals who have the capacity for investment, able to identify opportunities for return on their investment within the football landscape. Nigeria is a football-loving country. How is it that our local football is not on TV? How is it that a lot of the teams, if not most of the team, are still owned by government? And that's simply because, you know, private individuals who have the means cannot see how, if they invest their funds in running a football team like their counterparts in Europe and America will do, they can't see how they're going to make the money back. And the function of government essentially should be regulatory, just like in telecommunications. Regulatory, build the structures, and, you know, make your money back from taxes and all of the obligations that, the financial obligations that these corporates or these entities that are going to grow from that industry would have to fulfill to government. Give tax breaks where necessary to incentivize private individuals, investors, to put their money in our sport and develop it. Look at how much money the guys who just took over Newcastle are bringing into the British game. Look at how much the city owners have invested in the English game. Look at the infrastructure they built, the academies they built, and the impact, the effect on the quality of the English national team, and the equity that the English game has built globally. It's the most watched, football property on TV. That comes from encouraging private investment and private participation. That's what we did with telecoms. Let's do the same thing with sport, because the eyeballs are there. You can easily get the numbers, but you've got to package it right. You've got to run it properly. You've got to get the politicians out of it, get technocrats in there, get people who know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it to run our sports.
So, but I just like to tell you, I'm sure you're aware as well too that the efforts are being made to deliver a national sports industry policy. Perhaps when all of this is sorted, we can start to see the right progress you've been talking about.
I'm looking forward to it. In our lifetime, I hope that the Nigerian football property becomes one of the most valuable in the world. And I say that because I believe it can be. And if we don't stop talking about it, we don't stop pushing, we don't stop advocating, we don't let the wrong people keep lying to us that this is the best that we can achieve. One day, yes, we will get there. And I'm a believer in Nigeria. I'm a strong believer in Nigeria's potential, and we have to make those potentials become reality.
Spot on. But I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate your analysis. As always, enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.
Thank you, Tayo. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to keep talking about it until we start to see results. And as per the National Sports Industry Policy, we hear it's currently undergoing the final review by the Ministry of Justice. So hopefully, because it's been ongoing for a long time.
Since the minister came on, and that was the very first thing. We had him on this show when he talked about that. That is already,
So we hope as soon as possible this is, delivered.
Sorted,
yeah. So
maybe the next 3 months, hopefully. I mean, this is something they need to speed up, not just sleep over it.
They need to expedite action.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's very, very critical to the proper development of sports as a business in Nigeria, which is where we need to go next.
Because you're talking about business, and then you don't have the policy backing it up.
So it's just,
it's not going to work. So you just see, as Bada mentioned, same thing over and over again. But once you have the policy backing it up, and people know that if I put my money in this, this is what I'm going to get. And of course, accountability is going to come in, transparency is going to come in, and we don't want to see what's going on in basketball, for instance, where you're like, okay, the ministry is taking over because the NBBF board, the level of greed in it is so much that, okay. Let's leave that, and we still have one more thing to talk about before we look at the papers. And of course, this had to be, we go to women's football. Not something good really coming from France, because according to, L'Equipe, that's newspaper in France, it's the fact that Paris Saint-Germain midfielder Aminata Diallo, she is actually right now in police custody simply because of the fact that there was an attack on her teammate when they were together coming back from a party organized by the club, and then her teammate was attacked. And Keira Hamara, that's her teammate, two masked men actually dragged her out of the car that Diallo was driving on November 4th, and she was assaulted. I mean, they used iron something to actually, hit her legs.
Yeah,
and so she's going to be out for a while. So because of that, and since Diallo was right there on the scene, she was the one driving the car. So police have actually arrested her. So she's in police custody, giving, just a whole lot of reports, because right now it's not looking good, because she's the suspect they have in custody.
Yeah, she's a suspect. That's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Investigations are underway to see how all of this has happened. It's just a very unpalatable story for this young woman. Thankfully, she didn't sustain career-threatening injury, so she will get to play football again. But she couldn't play 100th game for over the weekend against Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, yeah. And Diallo played that game.
Diallo played that game. Of course, conspiracy theories out there already about what could have happened. No one really knows, and that's the job of the authorities to find out, to discover exactly what has happened in that situation between Aminata Diallo and her teammates. Well,
and
Cecilia,
both of them play for the French national team.
Yeah, they play for the same team, play the same position. As I said, conspiracy theories out there already. But we can't really say much until all of the investigations are done. And
Kera is 31 and Ighalo is 26. Okay. All right, so we'll see. Let's quickly take a look at the papers now. And of course, I'll start with, okay, which one is right in front of me? Sporting Sun. And Sporting Sun are World Cup qualifiers. Ighalo keeps raw Eagles guessing. Okay, 22 players are still in camp, and as the last update that was just checked from the media officer, well, he's still not in camp yet, and hopefully he may be arriving today.
So, but that headline, though,
but the headline here
keeps guessing,
so they don't even know what's happening. They don't know. So that's what this headline is saying, according to this headline. So they don't know what's happening.
So, Cecilia, could it be a situation whereby
he's thinking, should I not?
This man right here, he's about to snub that recall. That would be an absolute disaster. That would be an absolute egg on the face of the guys.
Do you really want to do that?
Anyways, we got tomorrow, today, and tomorrow to see if that is the case or not.
Okay, let's just leave this. I think that's the biggest story here. And quickly go to Tyre.
Sporting Life. Yeah. That's the next paper. Let's take a look at Ighalo still absent from Eagles camp. Of course, is going to dominate the headlines until he actually shows up. That's when people will start actually believe that Ighalo is really back into the Super Eagles. Well, Raw hopes to avoid another injury after Ozor. Manchester United players, staff expect Solskjaer's exit. Really?
Really?
We'll see.
You're stuck with him.
You're stuck. Well, it's not good anyway, guys.
Stuck with him to the end of the season because Ed Woodward is still there.
Yeah. Ndidi says we know what we want against Liberia. Okay. Liberia versus Nigeria. Eagles will go for 3 points. That's according to Ahmed Musa. Jorginho desperate to win Ballon d'Or. Pogba to undergo scan on thigh injury. Manchester United planning to trigger Koundé's £69 million release clause. Benzema wants PSG move, really? See how that plans. The West Ham will reject all bids for Rice.
Okay, and Complete Sports is the last one this morning, and this one you have we hope for the best against Liberia. That's according to Ndidi. Ighalo to arrive noon, so he's arriving this afternoon. So we're waiting for him, best breath. Musa said, we will go for all 3 points. You don't have a choice anyway. And this one is coming from Osime. I will always give my all to Nigeria. We trust in you anyway. And you have another one, Benzema's story to PSG is also here on Complete Sports. And if you check down of that same line of stories, you have Cavani, Werner, Sterling on Barcelona's shortlist.
Okay.
And Gerrard to return is open to EPL return with Aston Villa, who will just want to leave a very comfortable job and wants to go to under fire Aston Villa.
Yeah, because Gerrard eventually wants to coach, wants to manage in the EPL, and this is going to represent a massive opportunity for him. Forget that Villa are struggling at the moment. Gerrard is...
Please don't take the job.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. Fingers crossed. All right, that's it for the show. Many thanks for joining us again. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. See you tomorrow.